The trunk consists of the vertebral column and the innominate bones. The vertebral column forms the longitudinal axis of the body. It supports the skull, protects the spinal cord, and provides attachment points for the ribs and muscles of the back and neck. The vertebral column extends from the skull to the pelvis and it runs mid-sagittal. The innominate bones, or hip bones, are the two bones forming the sides of the pelvis, each consisting of three consolidated bones, the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis. We'll look at these in detail. These bones are termed innominate as the name literally translates to nameless or no name in Latin. There are 33 individual bones that interlock with each other to form the vertebral column. The vertebrae are numbered and divided into regions. 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 4 coccygeal. This regional numbered system is how we identify each vertebra. For example, L2 is the second lumbar vertebra. In an adult, the sacral and coccygeal vertebra are fused. Whilst vertebrae have unique regional features that allows them to be divided into regions, every vertebra has 3 functional parts. A drum-shaped body designed to bear weight and withstand compression. The lumbar vertebra here, the body is much larger than the thoracic vertebra here. An arch-shaped bone that protects the spinal cord, which we can see also on the lumbar vertebra, and star-shaped processes designed as points for muscle attachments. These include the spinous process that projects posteriorly and the transverse processes that project laterally. The transverse processes are also involved in articulation of the ribs. The interlocking nature of the vertebral column means that the individual vertebrae are limited in their lateral movements. To ensure stability, each vertebra has small articulating surfaces termed facets. The superior articulating facets of each vertebra articulate with the inferior facets of the vertebra above. The main function of the cervical spine is to support the weight of the head. Characteristically, these 7 vertebrae have a bifid spinous process, as well as the transverse processes having foramina termed transverse foramina. These small holes allow for the passage of vessels. The neck has the greatest range of motion because of 2 specialised vertebrae that connect to the skull. The first vertebra, or C1, is ring-shaped and connects directly to the skull and articulates with the occipital condyles. It is referred to as the atlas. This joint allows for the nodding or yes motion of the head. The second vertebra, C2, has a projection on it called the odontoid process, also termed the dens. The atlas pivots around the dens. C2 is referred to as the axis. Axis, atlas. This joint allows for the side-to-side or no motion of the head. The mid-back region of the vertebral column, or thoracic region, its main function is to hold the rib cage and protect the heart and lungs. The range of motion in the thoracic spine is limited. The lumbar or lower back region, its main function is to bear the weight of the body. These vertebrae are much larger in size to absorb the stress of lifting and carrying heavy objects. Moving inferiorly from the lumbar region, we get to the sacrum. There are 5 sacral vertebrae which are fused together. This fusion results in the spinous processes forming a single identity known as the median crest. And the vertebral foramen is now termed the sacral canal. The main function of the sacrum is to connect the spine to the hip bones at the sacroiliac joint. The roughened lateral surface articulates with the hip bone. This surface is termed the auricular surface, as it kind of looks like an ear. The coccyx region is the most inferior portion of the vertebral column. There are 4 fused bones within the coccyx or tailbone. They provide attachment points for ligaments and muscles of the pelvic floor.